Hi, today we're going to be making some summer rolls. My kids are obsessed with these. I am obsessed with these. They're so fun to make. They're so easy to make, but it's one of those things that I think is just a great thing to do on video because it could be a little tricky in terms of like actually rolling these rolls. But what we're gonna do first to start off the recipe is make a sauce. And this sauce can either be used to go on the inside of the roll before you wrap it up, or you can use it as a dip. Okay, so there's a lot of different sauces that you can do, but this is the one that like my kids seem to like the best, and it's a peanut butter based sauce. So the first thing that you want to do is look for organic peanut butter. Peanuts are very heavily sprayed, and so if you're not getting organic peanut butter, you are getting a lot of toxins in your peanut butter. I'm also using a creamy peanut butter, but really feel free to use whatever you've got, and if you are allergic to peanuts, then by all means use like a roasted almond butter or a roasted cashew butter. Both of those would work beautifully. So I have 2 tablespoons of the organic peanut butter in here already, and then I'm going to be adding a tablespoon of olive oil. So I like to get unrefined organic olive oil in dark glass bottles. And then I'm also going to be using an unseasoned rice vinegar. So unseasoned just means that there's been no sugar or salt added to it. It doesn't say unseasoned on it. It just doesn't say seasoned. So that's the trick. If you're looking for unseasoned rice vinegar, just make sure it doesn't say seasoned. If you're confused, then just go on the back, look at the ingredients, and just make sure it doesn't have salt or sugar added to it. Okay, so we're gonna add a tablespoon of this. I love rice vinegar. I use it all the time in dressings. It's just so fresh and light and bright. This one is a good one. Then we're gonna add some water, about a half a tablespoon of water. And we're gonna be adding some honey. I like to use raw honey, especially in a dish where you're not heating it up, so you can get the benefits of the raw honey. And I'll just eyeball a half tablespoon. My kids actually like this a little bit better when I tested it with more honey. It was a little sweeter. So feel free just to taste the sauce before you start working with it and just adjust it to your own liking. We're gonna use some tamari. This is a gluten-free soy sauce, which means that there's no wheat in it. Otherwise, if you have a good quality soy sauce or a shoyu, feel free to use that. This one is all soy. Those are wheat and soy together. But just make sure that it is, naturally fermented and not like flash pasteurized. Okay, so a little of that goes in here, gives it a little saltiness. And then I'm gonna use a pinch of cayenne. And by pinch, I mean like a little tiny dusting, just like that. And of course, you don't even need to use it. I like a little bit of a background heat in this. You can always add more, but cayenne is very, very powerful. So a little goes a long way. So don't, go crazy with it. And then a nice pinch of salt. Okay, we're gonna whisk this together, just making sure that you get all of the peanut butter well incorporated. And then I actually prefer to put the sauce inside the rolls. So that's what we're gonna do with this. But you can use this as a dip. If you think that you want more sauce, just double it, triple it. You can keep it in the refrigerator for 5 days, and this actually makes a great dressing. So the month that I made these summer rolls in my classes, I was also doing like a Thai crunch salad, and we used the same dressing on top of the salad, and it was delicious. So you can make this, again, like 5 days in advance, keep it refrigerated, and then you'll have to let it come to room temperature because what's gonna happen is it's gonna solidify a little bit in the refrigerator. Okay, so that looks good. You could also put this in a blender if you really want it to be nice and smooth. Okay, but that looks good to me. All right, now we're gonna put our dressing off to the side, and we are going to set up for our rice paper rolling and wrapping, okay? So I have here some fun add-ins. Typically summer rolls, you have like just a great combination of things that are soft and crunchy and raw and like creamy. So a lot of times you'll see rice noodles in there. Personally, you've already got a rice wrapper around it, so why add more rice noodles? But if you love it, then just go for it. But it just has to be already cooked and ready to go. Otherwise, in the summertime, you can add things like bell pepper and cucumber, which I have back here, and you can even do some lettuce, like a really nice soft butter lettuce, and you can put those in. You can put in shrimp or cooked chicken. But for today, I'm doing my favorite variation, which includes some roasted sweet potato sticks, which we just, you know, cut these, or I cut these into sticks, and I roasted them with a little bit of coconut oil and some salt. That's it. You could do this the day before if you want to, let it come to room temperature, and then, you know, start rolling with it. So I'm using some of these and some other really nice fresh veggies. I have some shredded carrots, which I think adds just a beautiful light sweetness and some crunch and color. I'm adding some shredded red cabbage. And I'm also adding some shredded Brussels sprouts. Like, I think these are super fun too. And then my favorite part of the summer roll is to use some avocado. It's just a really nice creaminess. And then lastly, and this is optional, but I love using herbs, is to use some fresh herbs. So use whatever combination you want, but typically there's mint is very often in a summer roll, as well as cilantro, and then even some basil. I'm probably going to use all three. I think they're delicious. All right, so let's get started. I have here a package of these spring roll wrappers. I found these at Whole Foods, and I chose these because they are non-GMO and they're brown rice, which I think is kind of interesting. So you'll take this out, and what you want is you want to get a pan of warm water ready to go, because that's how you're going to soften it up. I mean, technically it doesn't have to be a pan. This happens to be the perfect size, so I always use this, but you're actually not cooking them. You just need a vessel to soak your wrapper in, okay? That's it. The warmer the water, the faster you'll go. This one here has a little crack in it, so maybe I'll look for another one that is more perfect. Okay, so that looks good. Now, the reason that you want everything set up and ready to go is because once you soak this, it just takes about 30 seconds. I mean, maybe it'll take a little longer if your water's not warm enough, but it'll take you just 30 seconds. You want everything fresh, ready to go, and chopped up. So I'm going to submerge this in the warm water. And as soon as I feel the wrapper kind of get a little bit more fluid and more flexible, then I can take it out. All you want to do is make the wrapper rollable. Okay, it's kind of like when you warm up a tortilla. You do that so that when you roll it, it doesn't crack. It's exactly what we're doing with this. So it's not quite there yet, but it's getting there. And again, as soon as I can sort of fold it without it cracking, then you're ready to go. Now I have here a plate, and that's what I'm going to put my wrapper on, and what I'm going to use to sort of roll everything together. I have done this on wood cutting boards before, and for some reason they tend to just like soak up all of the liquid in the wrapper, and they can get stuck. So I think a plate or something plastic is great. Okay, so now this is nice and flexible. So you're going to put this down here. I'm going to take a spoonful of my sauce. Again, if you prefer to use the sauce as a dip, no problem. So I'm just going to spread this out like there. You don't want to go all the way to the edge. Maybe I'll do a little bit more. You don't want to go all the way to the edge because then it'll seep out. And then you can just have fun. So I'm not super artistic about this. I know there are people that can make them really beautiful, like they have their shrimp all connected and into a C shape. I'm not like that. I just kind of go with it. So I think it'll look beautiful no matter what. So you're just going to take a few pinches of things. Okay, so a couple pinches of my Brussels sprout leaves. And then avocado, which I love, love, love. And then we're going to get some sweet potato sticks here. So not too much. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever rolled sushi before, but if you've rolled sushi, you know that you can't stuff it with too much rice, because what's going to happen? They won't roll. So you can't overstuff this. Now I'm going to just take this whole piece of cilantro like this, the tender stems and everything, because the stems actually have a lot of flavor, and again, they're quite tender. This tough piece, I don't necessarily need to use. And then I'm going to take some basil, this, and just go like that. Maybe one big piece is enough. And then mint is my favorite part. So we'll just take a couple of leaves of mint like that. Like that. Okay, now for the actual rolling. And you want to just do this almost burrito style. So you kind of lift from the bottom, just like this, and then kind of tucking at the same time, you're gonna fold over the middle of your roll. And then what we're gonna do is fold the insides. So you're gonna take this side, and then you're gonna fold this in, and it should stick. It's kind of like saran wrap. It should stick together. And then we're gonna fold this side in like that. Okay, and now you're gonna kind of just roll and tuck and roll, just like this. So keeping everything all together, like that. Beautiful, look at that. So again, okay, not super creative and artistic, but it holds together and it's gonna be delicious. And then what you can do is you can cut these on a diagonal to serve. They'll look gorgeous on the inside. So just take this like this and then just cut like that. Voila! Doesn't that look beautiful? I love it. And that's how you make a summer roll.